So what we decided was to focus upon trying to raise awareness among staff, and that process had already begun over the past 3 years, and we decided that we would focus on a certain number of kids to look at a small-based project to try and make staff more aware of the benefits of using growth mindset. We feel that it kind of reached a lull, and we were seeing difference in pockets in the school, but we really want to see it more widespread and kind of readdress people's attention back to that. So we focused on a number of boys that were high level needs. So the project that we tried to focus on to try and raise more awareness again of growth mindset was we looked at what were now the 4th year boys that were away to be, and we'd had a number of issues with them throughout 3rd year. As a deputy within the school, I really knew the issues that were also happening out with the school, so there was a lot of problems within the community, and we were trying to kind of triangulate what was going on at home, within the community and at school, and try and see if we could have an impact on that. One of the things that we found out very quickly was, having spoken to the pupils initially of the ideas we had, they all wanted to change the impression that staff had of them. And what we said was, well, your mindset has to change first. So that was really the draw that we had, trying to pull them into it. Then we focused on what we thought they were interested in, and we talked about different sports, and we looked at a number of different sportsmen and women throughout Scotland to see what we thought would be manageable. And our initial reaction was to go for something that we knew we'd be interested in, which would be football. And then we thought actually it wasn't pushing them to their limits, and that's where the idea of fencing and Keith Cook came into play. So Keith came in and we sat together and designed a programme along with my other members of the Champions, and we put together a driver diagram to work out what interventions would have to take place to do that.
We saw a tremendous difference in him. There was a massive disengagement with him when he was trying to avoid classes, or he was trying to avoid issues where he got into trouble. Through the course and through working with him and through having conversations with him, it has got to the stage where they are now coming to us. Rather than just leaving school, walking out, they're coming to us, they're speaking things through it, they're telling us how they feel, they're allowing us to go back to where the source of the issue is, work with that teacher, try and sort that out, and they're more willing to go back in, which is a tremendous change from where they were. Having the kids in classes with their teachers and resolving these conflicts, they're not as stressed, they're not as ready to have an argument as what they were before this course. I feel it's made the conversations I have with young people that are disengaged with things, when you see young people not interested and almost switched off, you can have a more positive conversation because you're thinking of the language that you're wanting to use to get them to achieve something. You're not trying to make them do something because that's what you need them to do. You're trying to make them understand that they should do it because there's a reason behind it for their benefit. And the growth mindset approach, that's where I take it from, as being so important, because it's how we engage. That then has a knock-on effect.
I found that before they did the project, they used to just kind of give up very, very easily, whereas I think they've matured a bit more. I think they're a lot more respectful, and they are able to tackle the work and understand that they're not going to get it straight away and they need to work hard in order to get there. I think they've changed quite a lot. I think that even giving a small task, they would kind of be quite defiant about it straight away and say, I'm not doing it, it's too hard, whereas now they'll tackle it and they're more open to it. I think they understand that if they do find it hard, they can ask for help, and that if they are struggling, it's not the end of the world, and that they will get it eventually.
And Keith told us about what he'd been through when he was young. Like, if we haven't been we haven't been through anything near that, so if he can do something like that, then we can definitely do it.
I used to just, if I was stuck, I would just sit there and then not do anything, just let the period pass, but now I'll just ask for help because I don't think it's a bad thing if I can't do it.
So in the past, if I just made a mistake, I would just stop and I wouldn't keep trying. But now, like, if I make a mistake, I know I could probably do it if I just keep going for it.
A lot of teachers have said it's made a big difference in a lot of the boys' behaviour in the class.
I think I'm pretty confident outside the school. It's just kind of classroom environments. It's just a bit, you know what I mean? It's weird, a bit difficult.
Overwhelming.
Yeah.
I don't really enjoy it, so like before I went with Keith, if I didn't enjoy something, I'd just think I'm not going to do that because I didn't enjoy it. But it's not really like that. I know that I need to I'm getting older, I'm going to be leaving school, so if I'm not doing well in the classroom, I need to put the work in, try my hardest to get the marks.
For this to work, we need to create an environment where they felt safe and nurtured, and that's where we had a real starting point with them building a relationship. To build up the environment, one of the first things that we talked about, as I said, we had regular meetings with the pupils, and then Keith, to be honest, was pretty integral in that happening. Once he met the pupils and delivered his story, I'd given Keith a very brief background on some of the boys, so he knew maybe what to avoid talking about to create any upset, but also to how he could target them and maybe push them on. The key point in the whole project was once the visits with Keith had kind of finished in one session, I decided to take upon myself to interview the boys individually and talk about what had gone well in their life, what they didn't think had gone well in their life, using words to describe their past, how would they describe their future, and what we weren't expecting was the level of emotion that we achieved. So each one of the boys had actually got very upset, very emotional, talking about things that had happened at home and in their past. And we were really surprised because as the key people within the school, and even those who were the sort of pastoral teachers and guidance, weren't aware of some of the situations.
We put teachers in the school probably completely out of their comfort zone. We challenged them to choosing what they felt was difficult, so some came down to PE, some went to art. I should have went to art, but I was still able to stay in PE. And we did maths, English, whatever it was, and they were completely out of the comfort zone and felt we're in the kids' shoes. And then they seen how the language then maybe was able to break down the barriers to their learning. I got to go into classes and support kids, and I got a sort of a different insight to probably anybody else that's did this course in the school. I feel like the staff really bought into it, and when everybody's singing off the same hymn sheet, then the kids are hearing the same message day in, day out, and that's very, very important. And that changes, you can't do it by one or two people, it has to be everybody's buy-in, and once that happened, I feel like the kids then goes, right, this is what life is now, so let's go for it.